Gonna check the audio as we usually do. This is Streamception right here. Oh god, it's so loud. Gonna check the audio as we usually do. This is Streamception right here. Let me see something really quick. Oh yeah, you don't want to hear yourself. Let's see if I can turn the gain down a little bit, because my husband's cooking. I don't want you to hear him cooking, you know? Because I'm like right the fuck here. You don't need to hear, like the gain shouldn't need to be up a ton for you to hear me. I'd also, I guess that's just gonna be a part of our lives for now. I know it was previously an issue where some of the videos you would have to have the volume like literally all the way up in order to even to kind of hear me, and we also don't want that. I think this is fine. Music, how's the music? This is what happens when you do the stream by yourself, when you're a one-man team. You just gotta take a little bit of time in the stream to make sure everything's balanced, make sure everyone's happy. And of course the music stops, so that way it makes it harder for me to tell if my voice is balanced with the music. We're just gonna take like 48 seconds to try and make sure everything sounds nice. It can be a nice, chill, good vibe for the stream. I think we're in a good place. I want to say it's a good place. I think we're in a good place. Just music. I think we're good. Okay. So, salutations, friends. Can't forget that. Salutations, friends. My name is Brianna Sukiyama Banda, otherwise known as No Ordinary Scholar. And we are back. We are streaming again. The reason why it took so long to stream is because, again, in the middle of a move. So things get crazy sometimes, as well as work has been very crazy. And I'm so exhausted. As well as I have just struggled getting some of the notes on, because even for this book, I had way more notes for this book than I thought I had. But again, I'm going to make sure I'm up to date with whatever notes are uploaded onto my Patreon. But yeah, that as well. But you'll see, I have so many notes for this book and then the next book that I'm actually going to be streaming tomorrow, just so we can like get ahead of things, hurry up, get the Q3 wrap up out. But yeah, I have so many notes for the next book. The next book was fantastic. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about Septimus Heap, book 3, Physik. This book, oh my lord, I could not for the life of me remember what book I was reading. Like, half the time I was telling y'all I was reading Quest, half the time I was telling y'all I was reading Flight, which I already read. I literally checked Quest out from the library because I don't own it already. I literally checked it out and started reading, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. This just doesn't feel right. I'm proud of myself. I was like, not even, sorry, I'm turning the volume down. From my side, but like I'm proud that I was not even a chapter in and I realized that I was in the wrong. Fuck. Oh god, did I break something? I am such a mess. No, we good. Don't look at me like that. But I'm proud of myself. It didn't take even a full chapter for me to realize something was going on. It didn't even take the full epilogue for me to realize something was going on. And so I didn't waste a ton of time getting into that book. We figured it out. We got set, and Physik. This is our review of Physik. So we start off the book, and this substantial ghost. She's a ghost, but she has like substance to her. She can like pick things up. She's stronger. I think it's harder to pass through her. So the substantial ghost of a really old queen escapes the painting and the room that she had been trapped in for centuries. And her substantial pet ghost are terrorizing people. She's being a dick. She is trying to kill some people. And her pet is biting people, which in its life would be like an auto death. But in its death, as it is taking its substantial ghost form, it is creating a sickness. I want to know if I just like put this up here. Can you see this? You can't. So shameless self promo always. Once we get like the real desk set up going, you will have my shameless self promo. But yeah, her pet is biting people and it's causing this whole ass sickness to go around and people are like hospitalized. Frankly, I was reading this book and it was just hitting way too close to home. I was like, they were going through their own pandemic and I was just not in the mood for it. It's not that I was in the mood for it. I was just not ready to see people actually abide by the things that you need to do to save lives when that's not realistic, okay? It's not realistic. Moving on, though. So, Queenie, she creates this plot that allows her to send Septimus back in time to help her son. Her son is this guy, Marcel's Pie. He is the greatest physician. Think of him as... What was his one name? God, there's a whole book series about him that I didn't really like. But he's... an alchemist. Think of him as an alchemist. He is the greatest alchemist. He is turning anything into gold. He's trying to create. The reason why they need Septimus is because he's trying to create a potion for eternal youth and eternal life. I think he already has a potion for eternal life, but he needs it for eternal youth. And like he's trying to give that. His mother wants it for herself. He's like, I hate this woman. I will not give it to her. I will take it, but we will not give it to her. But that's the plan. She sends Septimus back to help figure that out for herself. Jenna, Nico, and this new friend that we meet, her name is Snorri. They all also go back in time to try and help and find and save Septimus. There, we end up finding out because what happens is Jenna is apparently like the doppelganger of this queen's daughter, Esmeralda. And so when she shows up, everyone had thought Esmeralda had died. So they see Jenna and they're like, oh my god, the princess returned. And they like celebrate her and stuff. And she gets like put in Esmeralda's room. And she realizes that Esmeralda is like an abused child. This queen has killed her 3 like toddlers. And Esmeralda, with the intention of once she gets the potion for eternal life and eternal youth, she will never not rule the kingdom. So she kills her children so that way they can never like have a right to the throne. Jenna and Septimus end up being able to get back to their time at where the substantial ghost of the queen tries to kill Jenna. And she actually ends up killing Alice Nettles, who is like the love interest of Arthur Mellon's ghost. And they end up killing her instead. And Septimus cures the sickness. Now, I have some pretty big issues with how this book handled so many things. Number 1, so we saw in the first book, there was this thing going on where there was a hunter trying to kill Jenna so that way the like crowned princess would never be able to take her throne. And there's a thing where they name the bullet and where they name the bullet, and by doing that they put IP, which I don't think it was infant princess, but it was like something that starts with an I, princess for her, and a named bullet always finds its mark. In the original book, they were able to defeat the hunter, take the bullet, and Zelda handed the bullet to her, so the bullet found its mark. The substantial queen finds the bullet, finds the gun, and is trying to kill Jenna again, which I thought, like, that's cool. Oh my god, they're bringing back this whole named bullet thing. How are they gonna get out of it? What ends up happening is you see the queen is pointing the gun at Jenna. She shoots. Alice jumps in the way and stops the bullet. The bullet kills her. And then you get pulled out of the story to be told this whole background of, like, how Alice Nettles is not her actual name. Her actual name is something that starts with an I and it has the initials IP. And so, therefore, the bullet found its mark. And honestly, that was such a brilliant idea. But because, like, it wasn't actually integrated into the story until the last minute, it feels so cheap. Like, if had her name always had the initials IP, I would have been like, oh my god, I could have saw this coming. Oh my god, it's all, like, the seeds have been planted there. But instead, it feels like it was a last minute idea that the author really liked, but then threw in and, like, just kind of, like, sticky noted onto the book as opposed to weaving it in. So, like, that felt like such a, like, you're just gonna hear all the sounds of cooking, but I know I'm louder than it, but, like, know that that's my breakfast. But it was such a brilliant idea, but because of the way it was executed, it feels like it was not given the, like, it was not given the treatment it deserves. It felt like it felt more made up and half-assed because you just kind of throw all that information at us at the end. Even though I know the purpose was because, you know, Alice is in love with this ghost and this ghost loves her, but one's alive, one's dead. And I get that, but I feel like the solution would have been to maybe, we see Alice and Arthur interacting throughout the book. So I feel like the solution should have been like maybe him bring it up earlier and like maybe they talk about the fact that her name was like always this or something, and have that be something that we mention and we like interact with a couple times earlier in the book, so that way it's not like last minute you did something and then you made something else up to kind of write yourself out of that corner. But yeah, I felt like that was such a missed opportunity. And the other thing that really bothered me was, like, Septimus gets sent back in time beginning of the book. We spend over half of the book just with Jenna, Nico, and they're flying around on Septimus's dragon Spitfire. And there's just nothing going on with them. You know, it's really just spending 4 chapters. We'll spend like 4 chapters with them. And then they're like running around, Spitfire's pooping everywhere, and he's there for some really poor like bathroom humor. Like, I think he's adorable. I think the dragon's adorable, but like he's primarily there for bathroom humor. And you spend, it felt like more than half of the book was with him. And then none of the things you did really brought anything to the story, aside from eventually he breaks the glass they travel through to go back in time, preventing an adult from going back in time to help Septimus and Jenna, which frankly I don't think that was necessary, aside from, like, I just don't know if that was necessary aside from preventing anyone else from going back in time later on in the series or something, because they aren't back in time for long. They're there for like less than an hour or two, and then they come right back. So it's not like they would have had time to go like flag down Marcia, the extraordinary wizard, the head wizard. They wouldn't have really had time to go flag her down and send her to go get them. So I don't see why, like, the whole purpose of having Spitfire and having Spitfire anywhere nearby was for that. it felt like we spent so much time on, like, not the interesting part of the story. Like, he traveled back in time. The time we did see with Septimus there was really interesting. You were talking about how he speaks obviously he speaks differently than they spoke back in that time. And so it made him a bit of an outcast. And so but it made him a bit of an outcast, but you still have him, like, he is the apprentice to the head physician, the alchemist. Like, I just feel like exploring that world, exploring, like, Septimus's, like, adventures and his learning there, having Jenna and Nico and them also exploring this world, spend more time as Merelda, like, maybe even, like, have them, like, fight off a plot to kill her, which they technically did at the end, but it was, again, very there's just so much that would have been so interesting to explore having gone back in time that we just didn't look at all. And especially, there's even, because Septimus, it was literally just because he went back and he was hoping that he would find the cure to the sickness, because he's, again, with the world's greatest physician, which, while it means alchemy, as a physician, that includes both alchemy as well as medicine. So he's hoping that he would be able to find the cure to the sickness, which he does, but it's literally just a throwaway sentence saying that he found the cure and, like, tucked it away in his apprentice, like, his, like, chest of his belongings, and kept to keep it safe. It just doesn't, like, that should have also been more explored, because, like, that's kind of a major plot point of the book. Like, a lot of things happen and are, like, set into motion because of this sickness. So, like, I would have been interested to find out how he got the cure, how he described the symptoms and whatnot to people, so that way he could find the proper cure, as well as B, the sickness is caused by the bite of the substantial ghost of this pet. So I'm very curious as to how he described that, which he didn't even know it was the bite of this pet. So how did we get to a point where he found out the proper way to discuss this? People understood what he was talking about, and he was able to get the cure. I'm just confused. That was not information that was really provided to us, and I feel like it should have been so much more explored. I feel like we spent way too much time with this Spitfire nonsense that literally did nothing for the story. It brought the story nowhere. It really didn't develop any characters, or it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything except provide space for random, like, poop humor, which was not interesting. And I know that this can be one of those things where I know people will sometimes say, like, well, it's like a middle grade book, you're not the target audience, which I don't think this particular criticism is something that really falls under I personally think only very few things actually do fall under the realm of, like, this is based on the age group thing, because this is, like, based on the age group thing. I think there's a very slim number of things that actually fall under there, and I don't think this is one of them. I know, like, poop humor can be a kid thing, but, like, also kid content can be very, very good. It does not need poop humor. That's very cheap humor, and you can also make jokes to kids that does not involve poop, and you don't need to make, like, 40-50% of your book poop humor for a kid to be interested in it. For one. For two, I read these books when I was younger. I read it when I was the target audience, and I shit you not, I read the first book. I remember, to this day, every single beat of the first book of that series. I would say, I think the Septimus Heap book and that Septimus Heap series is leaps and bounds better than the Harry Potter series. It was that one book that I thought was absolutely fantastic. That book is still one of my favorite books today. But at the same time, I read the first 6 books. The 7th book came out a lot later, and that's honestly why I wanted to restart the whole series, because I haven't read the 7th book. But I read the first 6 books. I, again, remember every moment of the first book. I remember 3 very general statements of things that happen. Like, I remember, like, 3 very general concepts of things that happen from the other 5 books. And that feels like, is that not evidence of how, like, how these different types of writings can really hold up and resonate with people versus not? I don't remember. I feel like I don't remember most of the other books, but the first book was amazing. I felt like the pacing of it was so much better than the past 2 that I've read. I feel like these books, the pacing is so awkward because you don't get, I feel like with these last 2 books, you don't get to see the main characters actually interact with the conflict at all. I feel like the conflict is happening around them, and they're just kind of chilling, like maybe chasing the conflict, but they never actually get to it. And then you have like one thing that happens at the end, and that's it. Whereas the first book, like, they were in the middle of absolutely everything, because everything was like, everything is it's like about them, you know? Like, how is it that a dude gets kidnapped and is taken back in time because he's needed to help find the cure to life, to the cure to eternal life, and I don't feel like you don't feel like it's important to show me him interacting with that conflict. Like, why is he not in the center of this conflict? Why is him working through this not the center of everything? Why is this princess getting, she's being hunted down again? There's attempts on her life again. And I just kind of feel like I'm watching everyone set up stuff around them, and the, like, heroes are just kind of walking around. The heroes are just walking around. I see some setup over here. I see setup over here. And then you have, like, the heroes walking in a circle right here doing nothing. They're talking about the things that are happening out there, but they're not with the things that are actually happening out there. And it's so much harder to get invested when I don't feel like the stakes are being presented to me. Like, Septimus was, for him personally, he was back in time for 6 months. And I got to see, like, less than a day for him. I got to see less than a day of him being in, like, the past, and it was probably 2 chapters. I think the pacing, and I think the choice on where the focus of this book should be was just, the book deserved better, the story deserved better, a lot of the themes and ideas just deserved better than the way that they were executed in this 3rd book. And because the first book was so good, I know that it's possible for the author to, like, present those ideas in, like, such an amazing way. I don't know if maybe it was, like, a rush to put books out or whatever. Publishing itself is an ugly beast. Who knows what the editor and all that, who knows? But I just feel like these books just do not hold the same, like, level of mastery that the first book had. And it's really, really sad to, like, be rereading them and just be disillusioned from how much I loved this series, and realizing that I didn't love the series, I loved the first book. It's lame. I still want to read all of them. I want to read book 7 just so I know what happens. It's the same thing with Maximum Ride. Put out, like, a 40th fucking book, and now I'm gonna reread the whole series because I wanna know. But that's gonna be another time. We're gonna read, before I read Maximum Ride, I think the first book I'm gonna read of James Patterson is probably gonna be Witch and Wizard, because that's, like, the one series I've read that I liked from start to finish. But yeah, so that's that. That's I think I ended up giving this book 4 stars and then reducing my like star rating of Flight to 3 stars, because if this book was 4 stars, the other one was definitely 3 stars at most. But yeah, it was just, it definitely could have been better. And tomorrow we're going to be streaming again, talking about another book, but this book, you don't understand this book. You will never, like, frankly, this is, I'm not even going to lie to you. The book we're talking about tomorrow is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas, and it is easily my favorite book on this goddamn earth. It was perfect. It was perfect. I felt all of the fucking things, and I love this book. I love this. I have like 10 pages of notes for this book because it was just fantastic. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you didn't know, I am an author. I write the books. I also write books. These are the first 2 books of the Queen of Thieves series that I've been writing. A New Throne, Catwalk Criminals. It is available on Amazon.com. Those will be linked down below. But also linked down below is going to be my newsletter. You should check that out if you want to be at the top of the herd with everything dealing with these and all of my books, especially if you want to be a part of these premieres that we're going to be doing for these books, exclusive premieres just for my squadron. Go ahead and check that out. It's linked down below. Especially, like, you want to hop on that soon, because we're going to be doing a free book. We're going to be doing the digital exclusive, the only place you will get a digital copy of my book, I Hear Colors. We're doing it for free with the squadron. Go sign up for the newsletter so you can make sure to get that book. But that's it for me. Thank y'all so much for watching, and until next time, valedictions, friends.